Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about tequila.
Tequila.
Yeah, we got the agave token. So I don't know. Do you want to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin first, or you just want to jump into this? Because
Let's just jump right in, dude.
I mean,
Bitcoin
look at
is taking
that.
over the world one day at a time, dude. Just that's all you need to know for now. We'll
That
jump back on that bandwagon once it gets a little more, exciting.
yeah, dude.
I mean, fuck, is it exciting? I mean,
I
shit.
think it is. Well, I don't know. I guess in the macro perspective, it's exciting,
Yeah,
but
well, yeah, anything exciting happened in the last
not really. Not
day.
really.
Okay, all
Uh,
right, then straight into agave, dude. And shout out to Blackstar for
yeah.
one of our community members who for calling this one out. Calling it out, before this nice little 60% run up.
This
So
was
once
like
again,
he called it out like 2 days ago, and it just got on CoinGecko roughly 3 days ago.
yeah, it's interesting to us just because like we were super early on the XDAI train and like One Hive train honey token, whatever honey community, whatever you want to call it. Like whenever we stumbled onto it, I don't know, 5, 6 months ago, it was like one of the most mind blowing realizations at the time. We're like, hold on a second, there's like these actual DAOs. You know what I mean? Like so under the radar at the time, and just the concept of it felt so fringy, so like on the outer spectrum of crypto. But now it's becoming like super mainstream crypto. Every project wants a DAO, like leverage a DAO somehow nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look at this activity. This is what a DAO looks like, a decentralized autonomous organization. It's just a bunch of people proposing ideas, and if it gets pushed through, I mean, it gets some degree of funding. And so we're gonna go through an example here of what. Let's go into what the proposal is. So what is agave? Like, what is this? What are we talking about? So it's announcing Aave on XDAI.
Hmm.
So if you think Aave is this like huge protocol, which it obviously is, and you think XDAI is going to be this competitor to these different blockchains, I mean, XDAI focuses on a sidechain transactions. So if you merge the two, I mean, this could be a potential. So let's give you some perspective as to what that might look like. So we have QuickSwap. QuickSwap is at $62 million market cap. There's a million in supply, right? $388. And QuickSwap is essentially Uniswap on Matic, or in this case Polygon, right? So with this we have Aave, which is a completely different type of protocol, but in this case it's on XDAI.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a obviously we're talking about a huge upside here. So let's get into what it actually does. So it's like we said. Think of Aave. I guess with a lot less fees. I mean, otherwise, why would you want to be on a side chain if you didn't want to reduce the fees? And this is a write up which I recommend you guys reading just so you'd understand like what it takes to make a proposal, because this is a pretty solid one. They have team members. They have prices in terms of like how much everybody's going to get paid. Some people are getting paid $40 an hour.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like, going from proposal to community engagement, and then the One Hive organization itself leverages the top of the line, like cutting edge governance, tooling in the industry at the time. I think they have very close affiliations with the Argon organization, which if we go to deep DAO, is like underpinning the majority of these DAOs. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Which is pretty cool to see. But it's just nice to see like DAOs at work. You know what I mean?
yeah, for
It's
sure.
not, it's not just like this obscure concept anymore where like there's potential in communities to just self-organize and self-govern and stuff. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's still,
yeah, talk about the downsides of this.
yeah, true. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. But just because it's nice to see it like actually like come together doesn't necessarily mean it's like the
Blue
most efficient,
skies.
huh?
Blue skies.
Yeah, pretty much. There's still like a lot of setbacks and difficulty when it comes to like, remaining so decentralized. But just because it's hard doesn't mean you don't try, right?
Yeah.
Like it's perfectly fine with trying.
And we have a solid example of this. So this was posted, what was it, February 28th? And it says, firstly, I want to apologize. So this Greenhorn is one of the developers who's trying to bring Aave to XDAI. And essentially what he did was the goal was to put honey and or agave at a 50 to 10,000 ratio. And I guess he missed a zero and he put 50 honey to 1,000 AGVE, which sets a price on the exchange, on the swapping exchange that they have. There's just a huge apology here, setting the wrong price. But if you read the comments, it's like this is a class act that how to handle a crisis, and so they're very in this case very forgiving just because of the transparency, which we're humans, mistakes are going to happen, right? This is just one example of the lack of checks and balances when doing this kind of stuff. So
yeah, and like established order of things, you know what I mean, and what the exact hierarchy you expect from like a centralized organization. Like all those things are put in place before anything is executed.
And all these are just learning experiences. In the future, when the next protocol that gets onto XDAI, they're going to learn from this experience, and they're going to put those checks and balances. That way, this doesn't happen again. And so, according to this mistake here, some people did lose some money. But again, I mean, I think the potential of AAVE on XDAI seems like a strong one if you believe in the ecosystem.
Yeah, if you believe in a few things, if you believe in like layer one scaling solutions are further away than what we're anticipating, we're gonna make some future videos here soon, like addressing that.
Yeah,
because within the month, the layer one scaling solutions start to become more like understandable and like deployed. And like, we can actually see whether or not, these promises, that the big juggernaut protocols have been talking about over the last few months are actually true. And if they're not, then that's very bullish for these layer two like ecosystems. You know what I mean? Like, because whether you like it or not, I mean, like DeFi needs a scalable environment, dude, in order for you to conduct your necessary degen activities. So
yeah, and like we said before, there's always going to be a scaling issue, right? As soon as you scale layer one, somebody's going to make a game that makes it impossible to do transactions again, and then you're going to go back to layer two solutions. And so I think there is a strong play for layer two solutions out here for longevity, but we're starting to fragment the population into different networks. So there's got to be some sort of protocol that joins everything. We'll see what happens with Polkadot. We'll see how these layer two solutions adopt something like Polkadot, or they try to. That's going to be something interesting to watch.
Yeah, true. And that's kind of like the mission statement of Polygon, right? Is to be that aggregator of solutions.
That's true.
That's
again, I don't know if Polygon has mentioned XDAI.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's just I don't know what separates the two, but for whatever reason, if you're a project, like the Polygon protocol should accommodate you to whatever scaling solutions best.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very ambitious from Polygon, to be that facilitator. But at the end of the day, XDAI is still going to remain relevant, and we're starting to witness like more and more. I mean, HoneySwap like predated all the other like layer two swapping protocols. You know what I mean? So
yeah, can we find Honey on here?
The Honey token. The Honey token's doing great.
Yeah, so Honey is at a 26 million market cap.
So this is the native token for the One Hive organization. Yeah, super low, right?
Oh, interesting.
It's a big deal when you see people like loaning out 50 Honey tokens. It's actually
a
sum. It don't sound like much, but it actually is.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I mean, Honey went through like this initial euphoria, just like a lot of things do, and like a settlement phase, like a lot of things do. Takes some time for the community to build and gain some traction. It looks like we're definitely in that early phase of this ecosystem.
Traction they have. I mean, this is like constant posting.
A lot of proposals, a lot of like another cool thing about like these DAO ecosystems is the potential for airdrops. If you were holding Honey tokens, I believe you were part of the token allocation for this AGVE protocol. They had to airdrop it to somebody, so it makes sense to airdrop it to their community, to the broader community that they all reside in. So extrapolate from there. What other protocol? I mean, AAVE is not the only DeFi protocol for a healthy DeFi ecosystem to exist. So what's coming next? Who's going to make the synthetics on XDAI? Who's going to make the barn bridge? Who's going to make the year in finance on XDAI? So
yeah, and these are all forks. So if you don't know what a fork is essentially taking public open source, in this case, smart contracts, and just porting into a different ecosystem, a different network, like in this case, XDAI. And it's literally a straight copy. And it's completely open source, so anybody can do that. You can fork Decentraland, you can fork Bitcoin, you can fork pretty much anything that's open source. And you can make it better if you want. If you think, you know, you can make a better Bitcoin, you know, you could do that.
Many times.
Yeah, it's been done many times.
Well,
So
not but attempted.
yeah,
Well,
I
just
mean,
to be
some are successful. I mean, if you want to call it that. I mean, Bitcoin
like
Cash is
Litecoin.
Litecoin. Yeah,
I think Litecoin's basically like a total like copy
yeah. So
pasta,
straight copy. The only number that's different is instead of 21 million, I think there's like 210 million
something like that.
or 2 billion, something like that.
But yeah, this is definitely cool to see. Where is Agave as far as like current product? Do we know? Like,
Yeah, we do know. So, in this apology, I think this is one of the latest. Oh, actually, no. In the apology post here, February 28th, which isn't too long ago, he was surprised that, you know, at the level of engagement from the community for something like this. He said here that there isn't a website yet, right here, and so they still got a ton of work to do. If you're okay with like gambling, you know, this might be something to consider.
and yeah, just I guess engage with this community from here, like from this point on, just to really get the inside scoop on the developments, you know, because
Yeah.
a lot of this has to be pretty overly transparent in order for like the community to support it, you know. So it's not like it's gonna be some like undercover op.
And it's interesting. I mean, this is from a decentralized autonomous organization, and then you have sort of a little bit closer to centralized. I don't know what degree AAVE wants to kind of decentralize everything as far as like its governance. But these are the options you have, and there's a different risk profile for these different options. So it's interesting to see that a completely decentralized version can be had. They're standing on the shoulders of giants who have already built the protocol. They're just putting it onto a different network. So
Yeah,
that's tough if you think about it. Like you couldn't, I don't know if you could start from a DAO and then just build up AAVE from scratch.
I think you can, dude.
You technically can.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's actually practical to do that, just because it's so developer intensive and therefore costly.
Yeah, that's the big caveat. Is like, is there enough tooling and enough like incentives in line for community contribution for it
Yeah.
all to pan out? In this case, it took like some kind of like outlier of an effort. I don't know if it's an outlier. There's probably a lot of people building different protocols in this community, but I mean, it just takes like an individual team to just have the ambition to like go out and like just do it. You know, nobody told them to do this.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody told them to build HoneySwap, you know?
Yeah.
Or in our case, nobody told us to build MetaZone for Decentraland, but we did anyways, right?
That's true.
These are community contributions, you know, and we're not getting directly compensated by any DAO to do it, just like these guys are. We're gonna have to go through a DAO funding proposal at some point. You know what I mean?
And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So this guy initially put up an initial investment, and he's hoping to at least recoup some of that investment via a DAO proposal, right? So that's the economic environment that you have to undertake when being in a DAO, when developing anything as part of a DAO.
And ultimately, like their labor and this effort, this endeavor is going to be rewarded, if not already. Now they have a solid war chest because they tokenized and they're building a community off of that token. It's already 16 million, and we're speculating it's got a lot more upside from here. You know, so like a few months ago, they were just a little, you know, $50,000 seed fund from some guy named Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Now here they are today with like a viable token, you know, economy and a community.
Yeah.
So, you know, and now they got the funding to really accelerate this development.
Yeah, and this post was January 7th. And in 3 months, they were able to produce AGVE, which is now worth 16 million. I mean, that's something you can only do in the crypto space.
Exactly. It's beautiful, dude.
So hats off to Green Hornet. I mean, that's a great name, first of all. Yeah, man, this is like the incredible power of the DAO.
Yeah, I hope you got your 50 honey and more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the video for today. Appreciate all the feedback that we're getting in the YouTube comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe. That really helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. It helps a ton. We will catch you in the next video.
Peace.